Well, if you're brand new, this is just a little ritual we inherited. And I just want you to think about entering this space as like it's entering a special time for you. As you walk in, you're just dedicating that this is something awesome for you. If you want to bow or have some moment as you enter the door, great, if that works for you. If not, still like you to set that intention. You're going to make something awesome for yourself. If you want to have a moment with the enlightened being at the back of the room, also great, if you'd like. So, everybody, here we go. So, as I'm starting to set a special space in myself, I really feel my breath. I feel my body calming down. I feel my breath becoming slower. I feel myself setting that intention, feeling that I'm going to make a special time for all of us. I'm going to make a special time for myself. I'm going to make a special time for you. So welcome everybody. I'm really honoured that you're here in the temple with me today. My name's Neo Jax. Thanks for the love heart finger. It's great to see some familiar faces and empty relevance. I'm not sure if you've been to one of these sessions with me before. I hope that I'll make this session really special, memorable, and powerful for you. Marlies is out there on the live stream. She says hi to everybody. Anyone out on the live stream, would love to see you on the chat. Or if you're watching this video later, I hope that it's a wonderful experience for you. I just want to start by setting an intention. You know, you were setting your own intention as you walked in, that you'll make this a great time for you. But I actually want to set something a little bit bigger. I want this time to be fun for you, to be interesting for you. I hope that you hear some ideas that empower you for the rest of your life. I hope you have some shifts in perspective, how you relate to yourself and how you relate to life, that makes things easier and more enjoyable. And, you know, bigger than that, you know, the 7 of us, walking away more peaceful, more happy, more empowered. I actually am trying to do something bigger than that, and I hope you will as well. I want each of us to try and shine peace and confidence as awesomely as we can, so that it rubs off on the people around us, and then our communities become happier, more easygoing, more empowered, more confident groups of people. And then I hope that as enough of us are doing that, we actually make a world that's filled with peace and kindness and consideration. To put that in perspective, if you think about people that are struggling with like their own issues, that get caught up in thoughts or feelings that are painful, almost everybody is not using their mind intentionally. And imagine a world where everybody just chose, what's the best way to talk to myself? What's the kind of feelings that I want to practice? If we all put our attention onto forging forward to the most wonderful world we can dream of, we can do that. So I hope you set the intention that we're here to practice awesomely for ourselves, and that will rub off on as many people as possible. And we'll even share it in ways that we hope it rubs off even more, just like I'm doing right now, so that we can fill the world with more awareness, more kindness, and more intentionality. So thank you all for being here. I'm going to grab a seat, and it's great to see so many of you out there on the live stream, so many of us here in the temple. Now, I can see Fingers wearing a red and white hat. Let me just zoom in. Great to have a little bit of cuteness in the room. Thank you. So while I'm not one for, hey, a little bit of mistletoe and hearts. So while I'm not really one for tradition, I do want to point out that, today, or this season, is a special season for a lot of people. It can be a season for family, it can be a season for rest, it can be a season for generosity or for compassion. But I was asking my wife before today's session, any requests, any themes for what you'd like? And she said something really intense. She was like, hey, there's so many people out there that are hurting or messed up. Do something awesome that will just really save as many people as possible. And she said that to me about half an hour ago. And I was thinking about what she said. And I started to think about when movements have really big impacts on people. And I was thinking, there are some groups of Buddhist meditators, and they imagine this being of perfect enlightenment, complete mastery of his mind, compassion in all ways of being. And before they meditate, they imagine this completely enlightened self, and they dedicate that they'll just turn to that until they're enlightened. Just keep focusing on that until they're this being of profound enlightenment. And for many of them, envisaging that, it gives them more beautiful motivation, and it lets them imagine massively more love. And then, I don't want to get into theological stuff. I just mentioned the Buddha because we're in a temple. But in some movements, they imagine we could live as heaven on earth. And we've picked up things that got in the way of us, in the way of that perfection. And you can turn yourself to something to just have all of that confusion washed away. And then we can go back to living as heavenly beings. And this feeling, this transformation, they work themselves up to it. And then you see people just have this moment where they let this model of awesomeness just suddenly take over. And then in some temples, they believe that there's some inner being inside of us that is goodness. But then inside of that is actually the infinite goodness of all existence. And so their meditation is like they believe that they are actually connected to the infinite wisdom and infinite power of all of existence. And as they're meditating, they're trying to connect to that, trying to embody that. And I just wanted to point that out, that as people are envisaging epic goodness, it brings more epic goodness into them. If you spend time in some of those communities, you see people that are just overflowing with peace and love. You see people with beautiful, dedicated meditation practices. You see people dancing in divine bliss. And I really care about truth and accuracy, so I tend to shy away from talking about this kind of thing, because bundled up in a lot of different cultural perspectives is a lot of things that aren't true. So I really am hesitant. I used to take people on religious tourism to show them all the beauty I'd seen in all these places. But so many of them ended up converting to this faith or that faith or some other faith. And I felt really guilty that my influence had taken them into believing things that I was sure weren't correct. So I want to be hesitant about that. So my intention right now is just to share that idea that as we imagine profound goodness, we can envisage profound goodness. If we set our minds on the ideal, if we set our intention on profound goodness or a beautiful way of being, that can be what our feelings and our mindsets start to shape. Stato, welcome to the temple. Great to have you here. And so, I was talking... oh, it's a mystery, we can hear you. So I guess what I was thinking of, I like to come from the perspective of like practical training. How can we train ourselves to
I
live?
thought this guy was John Lennon, but it turned out that wasn't a John Lennon.
It's my friend's Data. Cool. So I like to come from this idea of like practical training. We can train our minds, we can visualize, we can rehearse things. And then I want to include in that something that's comparable to that infinite goodness. All the goodness of the universe flowing through you, living as a heavenly being an enlightened being that shines enlightenment out through all dimensions of the universe. But then how do I phrase that in a way that sounds real or applicable to someone who's just not into or someone who's really into a grounded life? I want to share things in a way that everybody can agree upon. And so I guess I'm making that space right now. I want you to start imagining, well, if I'm going to train my mind, if I'm going to put my focus on something, do I want to put it on being a little more peaceful or quite a lot more peaceful? Or would I like to envisage a profound peace, like the coolest being the universe has ever known? If I'm going to think about patience and kindness, do I want to be a little more patient? Do I want to be a little more kind? And I want to share with you, I tried doing compassion meditation every day for like 20 minutes for an entire month. And I got to the point where I just felt love and care for all beings. So transformation in profound ways is completely possible by just taking a practical approach to transforming ourselves. Getting into altered states of consciousness where you are able to experience feelings of peace that flow through you and all around you, where everything else disappears except peace and bliss. That is possible. Meditating each day and imagining yourself as an ambassador for awesomeness. If you spend time in there every day and feel it growing, you will find yourself thinking amazing things and feeling amazing things and being awesome. So in this holiday season, holy day season, I want to prompt you to imagine the best version of you, the happiest, kindest, most easygoing, funniest, most confident, awesome version of you. But actually, I want to prompt you something even bigger than that. I want you to try and imagine not just what you think the best version of you is. I want you to try to imagine the best possible human. Because often what we think is possible for us, it's like here's us, and here's what we think is possible for us. Yeah, stepping into this awesome is great. But actually, there is peace or happiness or joy so much more than you've ever thought is possible for you. And I want to make the space for us to try and envisage that. And then as we envisage it, to spend time in that, to meditate on it, to feel it, and to become it. We were having a meditation in our house recently, and we had a relative visiting, and afterwards she was like, hey, what was the point of that meditation on confidence? Is that just supposed to make us feel bad for not being confident? And my wife had to explain, well, no, we're not just trying to make some comparison. We're actually trying to transform ourselves, to step into what it would feel like to be at ease with everybody and confident with everyone, and spend time feeling how good it is. And that transforms who we are. So in today's meditation, I'm going to try to take us into the most enlightened, saintly, wonderful version of you. And I'm going to try and spend time just holding your attention there so you can feel it, you can see how you think, you can see how you feel, and you can enjoy it. Just practicing yourself being transformed as wonderfully as possible. Alright, and before we begin the meditation, does anyone have any comments or questions? Anyone here in the temple or out on the live stream? Can I see with a wave or a nod? Did that sound good? Did it seem achievable? Did it seem... I'd love to get some feedback.
I just got reminded of an old picture of John Lennon and the Beatles' trip to India, and he's sitting in front of the Ganges River with a guitar and it looked like a white bedsheet, but thinking about them going to India, because they're these really super rich people, Western people, super rich, and they go to India for just a little while and learn from some guy. They come back and they change everything. It's very... But to see John Lennon wearing poor people's clothing or next to nothing, and then being happy about it, it's like sometimes you have to
Thanks for sharing.
You're a big rich asshole.
I think I know what he's talking about. It's basically like experiencing how the poor people are and stuff like that. I guess I'm not sure, but I experience how like the different lifestyles and all that stuff.
I mean, it's an entirely other topic of how do we relate to people all around the world. How do we have compassion and understanding? How do we live in a way that's as good for people as possible? But actually, one of the things I took from what he was saying was the Beatles. They went and they wrote some songs about imagining a world where we all work together. And George Harrison wrote a song, My Sweet Lord, just about dedication and devotion. It wasn't any particular religion, it was just love for goodness. And this was, decades ago? And for millions and millions of people, these songs, or this image that It's a Mystery was looking at, has continued to impact people. And if I go back to the intention that I set at the start of our session, you could do something that could impact some people for days or weeks or a lifetime. You might write a book or a meme or a movie that may go on to impact people for centuries. And just knowing that some of the things that some people do can be so transformative for others or even for the whole world, I think should be exciting. Exciting for you, exciting for all of us. Would anyone else like to ask anything or share something before we begin our meditation? All right, let's begin. Oh, someone's just coming in. Come in, welcome. We're just about to start our meditation. We had an introductory talk where we talked about this idea of transforming ourselves, watching whatever we think, wherever we put our attention, this idea of being like a blank slate in each moment, to be able to envisage the best possible us and make the most lovely, wonderful, confident, funny world that we can imagine. So the meditation that I'm about to guide, I hope, is going to take you into that as much as possible. All right, so let's all begin. We're going to start by just checking in with our body, just to get ourselves settled into the meditation. As I say that, it gets me to put my feet flat on the ground. I move my knees around and my hips a little bit. So I just invite you to feel where your feet are, feel the posture of your legs. If you're sitting on a cushion, maybe you want to wiggle forward a little bit so your knees are lower than your hips. As I said that, I actually wiggled forward on my seat. It makes my legs feel better. And just being in my body feels different than when I was just in my words. So as you just feel your body, feel your feet and your legs, you can take a deep breath and let your legs be still. Let your legs be at peace. And we're going to bring our attention up through our body. If you haven't meditated before, people often use a body scan as a way to calm the body and also calm the feelings in the mind, to take them into this peaceful state, this state of mind where you're more free, can do more wonderful things. So let's just feel around our torso, feel our back. Take a deep breath, feel it into your lungs. When I do that, I become aware of my posture, especially as my lungs are really expanding out. I feel it in the muscles in my back. Just take another deep breath and just let your posture line up in a way that feels even nicer. While we're feeling our posture, the alignment of our spine and our shoulders, you can also check in with your neck and your head. When I did that, I lifted up my chin a little bit and feel my spine through my neck, just lining up with the rest of my spine. You can feel into the muscles in your neck. My eyes just closed as I was really feeling into my body. If your eyes are already closed, that's great. You could just imagine them feeling a little heavier and more at peace. If they're still open, I just invite you to gently close them. So we're going to feel our head and our neck and our upper spine and lower spine as we take the next deep breath. Then feeling where the shoulders meet the arms. Feel the upper arms. Some of you, it might feel good to just be scanning down through both arms at the same time. Some of it might feel good to feel your left arm. and then your right arm. Feel your elbows. Feel your forearms. Feel your hands. Feel your fingers. Take a deep breath and feel your whole body. Some of you might already be feeling a beautiful peace and calm across your body and in your feelings and in your mind. Some of you might notice the way your breath feels as it flows in and out feels more soothing, more spacious. Some of you might be experiencing some really beautiful sensations in your body. And if that's you, it can be nice to know that such a quick meditation can bring such nice feelings. And to imagine, what if we just kept bringing ourselves into these nice feelings and had this beautiful peace and ease in our body and our mind all the time. Or maybe you might like to imagine, wow, if I can transform how I feel, what if the whole world, if all of us, took some time to transform like this? These nice sensations that you made could be just the beginning of a glimpse into enlightenment, a glimpse into an enlightened world. And I invite you again to feel your head, your shoulders, your arms, your torso and your legs. Feel your whole being going deeper into peace as you take some deep, soothing breaths. Imagine your mind being at peace. Just hear the sound of your breath for a few breaths. And next we're going to turn our attention to whatever inspires and uplifts you most. Maybe you could see how everything about each person is just programmed. It's just culture that we learned. And you could imagine the reprogramming of the neurons as profoundly, as beautiful, as creatively as possible. Everyone being rewired to be confident and loving, creative and playful. Or maybe you believe in the Paramatma. Maybe you believe in the paramount goodness within all of us. you can just turn your attention towards that infinite love, pure holiness and righteousness. Maybe you're inspired by enlightened beings. Could be Siddhartha, Gautama, could be many of the beings who've achieved enlightenment or who've meditated and created profoundly beautiful peace and compassion and wisdom. Maybe you could turn your attention to them and feel yourself connecting with those ways of being, those ways of feeling, those ways of seeing and thinking. Maybe you'd like to feel something new being born within you. Something that always followed the straight and narrow path, lived a heavenly life, and sowed seeds of perfect compassion, forgiveness and understanding, and goodness in everything you think and say and do. Envisaging a heavenly world. Whatever inspires you most, I invite you just to breathe deep and hold your attention there. Let yourself feel it more. If you were to let this infinite goodness, if you were to let it take over right now, what would you think? What would you feel? How good would it feel for pure goodness and ease to flow through every part of your being? What parts of you would you feel with more strength? What areas of your life would you approach with more strength? What parts of you would you feel with more compassion? Or what relationships and areas of your life would you feel with more compassion? Let yourself imagine the most beautiful kindness, loving care. Breathe deeper and let that love and care be felt more beautifully. Ask yourself, or ask this most wonderful thing you're focusing on, what qualities would be most helpful, beautiful, inspiring, wonderful? And as you feel those qualities arising, let yourself practice in them in the most beautiful ways. Let your imagination, let your focus take you into something transformative and powerful. Even though this meditation will soon finish, I invite you to imagine, what if you always stayed in this place? What if you always stayed in this state of mind? Free, fully empowered. As if the best possible way of being is flowing through you, guiding your thoughts, guiding your actions. Focus on how good that would feel. As you take deep breaths, just feeling what you'd like to bring from this meditation, the feelings you'd like to keep remembering, the attitudes you'd like to carry with you. If there's anything you'd like to share with the people here, or with the people you care about, or with the world. And then as we're coming out of the meditation, let's just take some more energizing breaths. That could be invigorating your body, or maybe some good feelings or transformative decisions that you made. Invigorating breaths, just make that goodness more powerful. One more invigorating breath, and when you're ready, we'll open our eyes. I'm going to start by sharing if there's anything positive or nice from your meditation. Maybe you just want to share a good feeling, or maybe something profound, and anything in between. Kunke?
Yeah. I mean, at first it was pretty relaxing, but when the bell thing rang, it scared me because I was more like in the meditation. But after that, like it was more relaxing, just like I was in the deep thought, kind of. I had to put myself back into the meditation a little bit because I was like wandering a little bit and I had to pull myself back because of that. So yeah, that bell thing, yeah, that's the thing that got me.
This one's been programmed to ring 3 times after someone rings it. So This was
Yeah.
just left over from that other person before. But I love that you
Okay.
noticed to then bring yourself back in. That's really
Yeah.
the secret to meditation. You guiding your own consciousness.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. Funny timing that you mentioned it and the bell went off again.
I know, what coincidence.
Would anyone else like to share? Well, I'd like
I
to
really enjoyed the meditation tonight.
Wonderful. Anything else other than enjoying? Sorry if I cut you off a little bit.
No, that's fine. I was deep in thinking about the holidays, about kindness, about giving. Definitely engaged more with just quiet, normal, following along with my breath and trying to understand more about my inner body rather than just my mind. Being able to check in with different parts and see if I can sort of like reach that higher level of understanding that I once achieved.
Awesome. Did you feel that as you were focusing on that, you had some more focus, or?
No, it was more of, just seeing if I can recognize the parts of my body and seeing if I can basically get a deeper understanding of how I am feeling. And I did a pretty good job. I'm satisfied, and I'll do better next time.
Thanks for sharing. Well, if I was to share, I think the thing that stood out or that arose for me when I asked myself what would be awesome is I had this word just become really clear: tenacity. Just kept hearing tenacity, and I was imagining just being high energy, bringing positivity. Often in a house, I kind of leave it up to all of us to guide like what we're doing, and just had this big feeling of just be way more vibrant, just make awesomeness happen, guide it for myself and everyone around me. And it felt like fun and easeful, like I was just making everything easier and nicer for everyone. That was great. So that's what arose for me in the meditation. Would anyone else like to share? Those of you who are brand new here, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that it felt good, that it was soothing, that it was filled with positive feelings, maybe some insightful ideas or perspectives. Oh, Alison out on the live stream says she caught 20 minutes, but it was exceptional. I'm so glad you liked it, Alison. Thank you. If you'd like to practice it again, it'll be there on the live stream on Facebook and on the YouTube channel. So, including anyone here, if you liked that meditation and you want to revisit it, please go check out the video and do it again. And put a like and a comment so that more people will find it and engage with it. Yes, Kunkei?
I got like a new gamer chair, so it's a little bit comfortable for me because I can like sit down in it and put across my legs on it because there's like a little footrest. I put that footrest across there, and I'm gonna tell you, it worked so much wonders. It's like the best thing. I can sit up straight and just like kind of whatever, and then all that stuff. So like it helps like support my back, and it just it's more relaxing. So like when you get that comfortable position and of like meditation, all that stuff like that helps a lot too.
Thanks for sharing.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty amazing that by just making little adjustments to our posture can make it feel so different or so much easier. Or bringing awareness to our body and relaxing things that you wouldn't otherwise not have paid attention to. Or bringing awareness to some muscles and just shifting them slightly, and they can feel so much better. And I think that's an awesome metaphor for our thoughts and our feelings as well. Just bringing our awareness to... most people think that feelings just happen. Most people just have thoughts come and go. But when you put your awareness on it, you can adjust them. You can relax some. You can energize others. You can shift your focus. And that can wildly change how your mind is flowing, how your feelings are. Yeah, so I'm glad you got into such a nice posture. And I hope that also made your meditation great. And I think it's also insightful that we can transform ourselves just by bringing that different awareness. Now I'm curious, as well as coming into a beautiful meditation and practicing positive qualities, I was trying to set the scene of enlightenment, heaven on earth, your most awesome self. I'd love to see with a wave or a comment on the live stream. Did you have a glimpse of that in the meditation? Did you have some time in that? Did anybody? Getting a nod from Sigma? Excellent. More than a nod. Getting some divine dancing. So one thing I've noticed when I go to these different movements or different communities that have this profound envisagement of an enlightened being or of the infinite goodness within us, our higher soul, or any of those other groups, is that it's pretty rare for someone to just walk in and hear it and be like, whoa, yes. It happens sometimes. But most of the time, people hear it many times, and then their subconscious starts to build up this image of the enlightened being or of an enlightened version of themselves. And then after they've built it up, then they can start to feel it and be excited about it. And then people have breakthroughs where it's like, oh, then it's transforming them. So I actually hope all of you will listen to that meditation again and make that awesome version of you, the version of you that's pure peace, that moves through everything with ease and confidence, that you make that part of you bigger, clearer, feel more amazing. Because the more time you spend envisaging that, the more your brain wires up to be like that, the more you think from that perspective, you feel from that perspective. I actually had an interesting thing with Zenki, the person who originally set up this group and was part of having this temple built. I was talking to him about training our mind by visualizing and rehearsing, and that's not a technique he's into. He's like, nah, if you're not coming from the enlightened being, it's off track. And at first I was like, hang on, it's awesome that people train themselves. And I was thinking about what he said. And if you remember today, I said, hey, instead of imagining the best version of you, imagine the best possible version. Because if people are trying to train themselves from what they think is possible, it's quite possibly that they're only just making little tiny steps. Whereas if we actually let ourselves imagine the most awesome thing we possibly can imagine, then it makes space for you to explore better feelings. It makes space for you to, like, what would it be like for the most wise, easygoing being in the universe to deal with that? So easy. So, letting yourself imagine beyond what you think's possible. Letting yourself connect with the most enlightened version of what you could envisage. It's a really beautiful place to come from. So I'm still a huge advocate of train your own mind. Rehearse how you want to be. But I want to keep turning us to, hey, envisage the best thing you possibly can and rehearse that. Would anyone else like to share anything from the meditation? Or would anyone like to ask any questions?
Yeah, what are your thoughts about thinking versus gathering information and going off your instincts? The gateless, the gateless, or...
It's a good question. I've definitely seen people following their intuition and doing ridiculously damaging things. I don't believe in an innate, perfect intuition. And then I've also seen people when they get this feeling in their gut that something's not quite right, where everything kind of seemed okay, and they were correct. Or I've seen people be inspired to follow a course of action in their life that worked out really well. And the fact that I've seen both following your gut and trying to learn work really well and sometimes and not work at other times is I can't actually give you a good answer. Well, I guess the best answer I could give is try and learn, try and study, try and take the most thoughtful, wise, intellectual approach you can, and also know that your subconscious might have picked up things your conscious mind didn't notice. Listen to your feelings. Try and find harmony from both of them. Making good decisions. I don't want to make some claim of some infallible way. I haven't seen that in anybody. Actually, some people I've seen that really seem to be in the flow is they're just like good vibes people. They're like excited and positive and they're loving and easygoing, and they kind of just approach everything from this like full of love and joy and positivity. It's not flawless. I've seen those people also make mistakes, but I've seen them have a lot more ease, and their decisions just guide them in ways that seem to work a lot more. Actually, my other answer would be, if you're thinking about some area of your life, or you're approaching some area of your life, maybe see who has succeeded there and learn from their approach. I hope that was a profound and wise answer. Sorry I don't have a spot-on answer for that kind of question.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. If you want to ask about something more specific, maybe I'll have some thoughts or some wisdom. anyone else want to ask either about the meditation we just did or about life, philosophy, or the theme for today, which is cultivating your most awesome self, being an ambassador for the best possible world, helping that rub off on others, making memes or songs or good times.
Yeah, I got something.
Please.
Okay, so when you're like helping someone, right? You're helping them to be better. But we also have to understand that we can't like help everyone, right?
Yeah.
So what are you to do to deal with the emotions that'll come to you from not being able to help everyone? And a dude called Alan Watts like said something I think is really profound when it comes to this. He said, basically, you just need to understand that it's all just a part of it, you know? So you not being able to help them, the suffering that they're going through, it's all perfect in a sense, you know? Yeah.
So I think
I'm not sure if I
I
captured that, but yeah, that's basically it.
So you were saying as we try to help people, it seemed like there's two parts to the question. If you're helping an individual, how do we handle when it doesn't go as well? And then you also said, hey, we can't help everyone. How do we relate to that? I might come back to the Alan Watts quote afterwards, but I'll look at those first two.
I mean,
Do you think I
it's like
captured
you
those first two?
enjoy both the good and the bad, you know? You take everything as is without like judging it in a sense. Just understanding that, you know, that's everything is, the universe is working as it should. So you adding your negative judgment to, you know, that situation isn't really the thing to do, I guess.
So I do like to look at it as time frames. Everything that's already happened, all we can do is accept that. Nothing else we can do will change the past. So being in this present moment, that then gives me this power of like, okay, well, what can I do right now? What is possible? But then in the future, in as we move, no worries. As we move forward, things are never going to be what I expect. I can do a meditation on all of us becoming world-saving superheroes, and is every one of us going to be a Buddha-level global character? Maybe, I hope so. But if everyone walks away a little more peaceful or massively more aware or has this thing that keeps guiding them for their life, that's great. Somebody left halfway through. And so as we move forward, things will always be different than what you expect. And so embracing that we accept what has existed and we accept what will happen is a very empowering place. I love what you just said about like not adding more judgment or negativity into the world. So I like to think of it, to put it in similar school to Alan Watts, is that if we have acceptance of all things or non-attachment, we can then give love, time, positivity to someone, and the outcome's going to be different than what we expect. Even if you expect something great and then something else great happens, it's not going to be exactly what you expected. The outcome's always different. And so we give with non-attachment or non-expectation. And you said, how do we deal with the feelings that come up? Actually, two parts of what I want to say to that is, I hope that we approach life with this non-attached approach. so that you wouldn't even have these hard feelings arise in the first place. You give out love, and you know you've planted some seeds of wisdom and goodness. And we hope they're going to blossom, but it's probably going to be other stuff happening between now and then. So you just feel the goodness of the seeds you planted. And that is the feeling that comes up. Instead of some reaction to the past stuff, you're just letting that go away while the goodness takes over. But he also said, how do we deal with feelings that come up if things aren't working as we wished? That's a great question. I'd hope that we all get into this enlightened state where whatever goes, we are just this fountain of love and wisdom all the time. But if we do have some feeling, some reaction to you tried to help someone and didn't work as you expected, or even any feeling or reaction, I hope you remember that we did this minute body scan and we stepped into peace. I hope you practice often being able to put your focus on the breath with so much focus that you become pure stillness and spaciousness. That if any feeling comes up or some attitude comes up that's not helpful, you can just step back into that place of calm in the body, calm in the mind. And then from there you can be like, oh, do I now choose to feel terrible about that thing? When you've stepped into that place of freedom, you then get to choose. And I'm pretty sure that you will choose to approach it with wisdom, with calmness, with patience. Sometimes we can meditate, get into the stillness, and then when you think about that person or that thing that was done, the bad feeling still comes back. So I just invite you to go back into the stillness a little more. Let that part of you be even stiller. One thing that I like to think is, I don't necessarily think the whole universe is flowing perfectly. I can see the benefit of approaching it like it is. We put out positivity and we just go with the flow. But I actually think if everybody took it really seriously to enlighten the world, if that was our number one priority, the world would get a lot better. And so things ain't going as things should. I don't know, that's a bad quote from some song. But yeah, if someone's having a really hard time, you may not be able to help them with a few sentences or a few hours of your love and concern, but possibly a meditation might help them, or maybe a certain way of saying something or describing something might reach them. Maybe 100 people doing a flash mob, dancing for them and telling them some story might help them. I like to think that there actually is a way to help everyone through everything. And you might not have the time or the resources or even the knowledge of what to do. And that's okay. Like, you can only give what you can. And so if we approach everything with love and care and creativity and playfulness, then we try and find the most skillful means we can, with non-attachment, non-expectation. And if that helping them is our top priority, then we'll come with more creativity next time. We just keep exploring. And if we're talking about just all the people we see every day, the people that come and go from the temple or passing in the street or from work or different circles of friends, be that fountain of love and peace and wisdom, with non-expectation. It sounds like you've already heard about this, like, non-expectation, non-attachment, to feel that we're just contributing just the goodness without adding any more judgment to it. So perhaps meditating on all the things you said would be the way. Like, hearing these ideas, Me just talking now, they might sound like good ideas. Are they going to really change how you feel? Maybe a little, but maybe not. You meditating on it and rehearsing what it would feel like. What would it be like to be this like fountain of care and kindness? And whatever they do, I just keep being my Zen, keep giving love. The seeds I planted, just keep watering them, seeing them blossom. When they start to blossom, I celebrate it, help them blossom more. Like, what would that be like? And as you envisage what it's like, then you start to have that as your immediate reaction. That's how you feel, that's how you respond to stuff. Having all the good ideas in the world doesn't mean anything if your habits, your emotional habits are something else. So we have to meditate on those good ideas. We have to rehearse them. We have to feel what they're like so that they get practiced. They get ingrained into who we are. So it's in many ways you had the answer to your question already, and I encourage you to meditate on them, to practice them. And I hope maybe I also said some other tidbits that will enrich the perspective in which how you think about those situations. How is that, Zeitgeist? Love hearts? Excellent. And thumbs up. Beautiful. Anyone out on the live stream, do you want to give us some more Zeitgeist? When we're in VR, we can actually like shower emojis at each other. So I just put the camera onto all of you. Do you guys want to just give me a love heart emoji shower? Just so the people out there in video world can see what we're talking about. Yeah. Awesome.
Spread the love.
Yeah. Thanks.
But it's a winter emoji. No fun. Why not? Oh.
And now that we're being silly, Zeitgeist, maybe next time you're have a situation with somebody and you've tried to help them in some way and they're acting up, maybe just inside your mind you could just imagine an emoji shower. Makes you giggle a little bit and probably would let your creativity think.
That's true.
Yeah, and it will probably let your creativity.
But not be too angry at people.
Honestly, I got like a set of what do you call them? I don't want to call them Buddhist beads, but I got
Mala
a
beads.
bead chain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, mala beads. Yeah. So, anyways, if I'm feeling like stressed or frustrated with someone, instead of like, just like giving them a piece of my mind, well, I will talk to them, but like instead of like being angry and stuff, I'll just like sit, keep quiet, and just match my breathing with the amount of beads that are on my chain. And by the time I come full circle, I'm good.
It's amazing to me that
and then
just spending like
I can talk to the person.
whether it's 20 or 50 or 100 beads on your chain, like just that amount of time can be so transformative. And it's wild to me that so many people haven't experienced what is it to focus for 20 breaths or 50 breaths. And so they haven't
it's
seen
really difficult.
how profound it can be.
It's really difficult stopping your mind from wandering and not losing count. So that's why I got the beads. So, yeah. Because I do this thing called, I think it's called dragon breathing. I'm not sure. Anyways, it's
I
like
invite you to keep coming here because I hope that I'll show you some meditation approaches that can actually bring you into that focus and peace.
Yeah, sure. I'm usually here.
Awesome. On the Monday
I'm
nights?
not sure what the schedule's like, but it's on a Monday.
Yeah.
It's mostly on a Wednesday.
Yeah,
And Friday.
I have a different approach to that other teacher.
Okay.
Mochi is typing something. Let's see what's up. Oh, a bunch of stuff's been happening on the site, on the live chat. Marlies has said, please send love. And yay. And then Michael Goodmix has said, wish I was there. They don't do virtual VR chat anymore. But thanks for the great sessions. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're here on the live stream, Michael. And let me know if there's some other VR platform which you'd like to do. Definitely open to it. Okay, and Mochi just said, are the times on the board accurate? Not really. I've been focused on that time here for the Monday night one. I think the Wednesday night one might be yeah. Let me just have a look. Yeah. Monday evening and Wednesday. And I'm not sure what time they meet here on Friday. And there's a Saturday one. So the only one I really follow is my Monday at this time. And I'll have to change that sometime soon. And I don't have access to change this world. So maybe I'll be in a different world soon. I'm going to go back in. I hope I still see what you wrote. Oh, you were celebrating Christmas. Well, I hope you can watch it again on the live stream, because today's theme was inspired by the birth of heaven within all of us. I don't know what Christmas means to different people, but when I think of it, I think of a movement of us knowing that we sow seeds, and we continue to sow seeds that blossom. Some seeds will blossom, some won't. You just keep sowing the seeds within yourself or within other people. And some of those seeds will blossom massively. So you just keep meditating, keep focusing on awesomeness, keep speaking positively to yourself and others, and it makes a difference, and it's worth it. And if all of us try to follow this straight and narrow path, right thoughts, right words, right attention, right intention, if you're just always guiding yourself in that positivity, you'll make your world better and better and better. Out on the live stream, Michael said he'll help make a whole new world for real. Yes, please reach out to me on some platform, or you can put how I can contact you here in the stream. And everyone else on the live stream says, sounds awesome, you're doing great, awesomeness, and that's cool. I love that you just said that, Michael, because I want this to be a whole team of people. You know, we can only make heaven on earth, we can only enlighten everybody if we're all doing it. So every one of us working towards making an enlightened world and contributing in whatever way we can is what the world needs. I started these sessions without, this isn't just for you to be peace and happy. I hope that you spread awesomeness as much as you can. If you want to be in this team of United Visionaries, science-based brain training, vision for a united planet, great. If you want to go out and spread awesomeness in your own way, great. If you find another team that resonates with how you see things, great. I just want all of us to be making as much awesome in ourselves and in those around us as possible. Maybe I should spend more time telling about United Visions and like our team. But I mean, these sessions are really about empowering you, and I hope you keep coming to these sessions. And yeah, like Michael said, he wants to help create a world that more captures accurately what we're about and where we can update the times. Awesome. If you want to create little shorts from these videos and share the snippets that you found most amazing, awesome. If you want to go and write some poetry or songs or create something that shares the best things you ever learned, awesome. I want every one of us to feel that it's our job to spread awesomeness in the world. Oh, got someone scratching on the door. I think that means it's almost time for me to have to wrap up. Mochi, you were talking about stepping into peace when we need. I think I'd like to guide a closing meditation to take us into that. One moment. Hi. Just about to do the closing meditation. I didn't say that. Alright, well, my family needs me. So, I want to give you the idea that when you tell yourself that focusing can be difficult, it kind of primes your brain to be like that. I want to give you the idea that you can step into, I can find peace in myself profoundly and beautifully. I want to encourage you to imagine, what would it be like? How good would it feel to know that I can step into peace? I can step into beautiful feelings. I invite everyone to close their eyes, feel their body, feel their feet, feel their legs, feel their torso, feel their arms. Take a deep breath, feel your whole body. Imagine if you deeply believed with your whole being. Imagine if you completely stepped into peace. You deeply believed you could transform your whole self into peace. Imagine all of your body becoming peace. Every muscle you feel, everywhere your attention moves through your body, it just lets go. Exaggerate letting go. Feels so good. The next few breaths, exaggerate, stepping into stillness and calm. Give yourself this gift, creating the thoughts and the feelings where you bring your attention to. Give yourself this gift. I create beautiful, helpful thoughts. I am the artist of my own mind. I practice what I choose. I let the most helpful thoughts and feelings in. If I see a belief or a habit that's not helpful, I just transform it. Give yourself the most loving breath you can. And now I have to leave. I invite everyone who's here to stay and practice right speech, right intention. Try to inspire each other. Share what you love from this session. Share the most wonderful wisdom you ever had. Listen to each other, care for each other. Thanks so much for being here. I hope to see you this time next week, and wish you all awesomeness. And Michael, please reach out however you can connect with me.